There we go.
Is that us set up, mate?
I believe we are officially recording the podcast.
Right, okay, so I welcome myself and all that, so
Yes.
Right, so this is the first. Hello, I'm saying hello to the people out in the world, Chris, whoever they are.
I bet there's thousands of them already.
Thousands, there are two, right, so this is the start of my podcast, me and Chris Penn, you can see him in the other camera, right, and I've been talking about doing a podcast for ages, like years. I've had different versions of podcasts. I've done like ones just recording, done ones on Zoom, but I've never actually had a proper one set up. And this is good because this is a nice wee studio, isn't it, Chris?
Well, it's a studio now as of the past week. Before that, it was just a wee pub.
So this is like your converted pub.
It is.
Isn't it?
By mine, it's actually my girlfriend's that I've just taken over.
Oh, so he's just moved in with his girlfriend, and now he's using the pub hut type thing.
Yes.
And so I've been talking about doing one for a while, and when was it, during the festival, Chris?
I came to your last show of the Fringe.
So you weren't intending to come to the last show, you just happened to be in the pub when the last show was on. You were planning to go somewhere else, weren't you bastard?
We've actually got Mike Rice to thank for this podcast starting. I don't know if anyone knows Irish comedian Mike Rice, but
right.
I was meant to go to his show on the last day of the Fringe and he cancelled it. I think because he was being a shite bag and he was too hungover or something.
Oh really? So where was he on?
He was on, I can't remember, it was over somewhere in the New Town. But I was going to 4 shows that day. Right. The second one got cancelled. And me and my mate were looking for somewhere to watch F1 in football.
Right.
And I just thought, the Globe, they show sports. And we popped in, sat there and watched that for a bit. And then you walked in and I was like, there's him, I worked with him.
Yeah, I worked with that ball back. And you end up coming to my show.
Aye, we stuck around, watched your show, it was class.
Cheers, mate.
And then we, that was a show where a guy came in and you ate his pie.
No, see, I didn't actually eat his pie. That was another comedian called Silas who came to see me.
Okay.
A guy from, where's he from again? Lithuania or something. That sounds racist as fuck, doesn't it? But this is
one ate a Lithuanian's pie, for God's sake.
So he came in and he had a pie. He was in late, so I stole his pie, and I was going to eat it, but I'm glad I never, because it told me after there was mushrooms in it.
Well, I wouldn't be touching a mushroom pie.
Fuck that, and that'd have been the end of my show. I'd have just spewed everywhere.
But no, it was an excellent show, and then we were kind of chatted to you a wee bit before it, chatted again after, and we were kind of talking about, I was telling you like all the different shows I'd been to at the Fringe.
Aye.
Just about all the kind of comedy I'm a fan of, talking about how many podcasts I listen to.
Aye.
And that's when you were like, I want to do a podcast. And then I never said, do you want to do a podcast? I waited till the next day and I was a bit hungover and I was like, I'll text him and see if he wants to do a podcast.
Aye. so it's always been on the kind of the back burner. I've always wanted to do, because I don't think comedians need to do it these days.
Everyone's on it. We've just jumped on the bandwagon.
Exactly, because there's loads of people do it. You said you went to see a lot of shows because you've seen their podcast.
Probably most, if not all, the shows I went to at the Fringe this year, and that was probably about maybe 10, were all people that I know from watching various podcasts.
Who did you see?
So I saw all 3 of the Some Laugh Boys.
Right. So Mark Jennings,
Stephen Buchanan,
Stuart McPherson.
They were all great. I saw, who else? Adam Rowe, who's got a very successful podcast, hasn't he? Yep, the Have a Word, or king of the podcast.
They're
game at the moment.
They're doing. So is it Adam Rowe and who's the other guy?
Dan Nightingale.
Right.
So they do actually need to watch out because we are coming for them.
Exactly. So this is the first one. So we'll be they're number 1 now, but this time in like 2 months.
2 months.
2 months.
I think
this is going to be huge.
I think they're approaching 30,000 Patreon subscribers. So but I reckon we'll be there by Christmas.
Definitely.
Aye.
Oh, by the way, before I start, no, we have started. But so this is the first one, so we're still kind of finding our feet. So it's me and Chris kind of run it. It's my podcast. It's called the Fuck It List, Obie's Fuck It List. So Chris is a guy that I used to work with Chris, and he's kind of allowed me to use his lovely wee hut here, his wee pub. So it's got a nice wee bar over there. It's got all his music equipment. And all that kind of thing. So the idea of the podcast is to do a variety of different stuff.
Just talk a load of shit, I think.
So sometimes it'll just be me and you talking shit. Sometimes I like to get good guests on, maybe other comedians, but not all other comedians. Maybe people that interest me. So I'm interested in loads of things. Stuff like, even if it's stuff that fucking You know, like people with good stories.
I know a few people with good stories.
Aye,
I'll find some.
Find some. Aye. Like could be like famous. I don't want to be like so I'll try to work out what I want to do. So inspiring people. I don't want to be like like James English. Like some of his stuff's good, but then he'll get some guy that's just out of jail. He's murdered 10 people and all that, and he's like, I get this guy on. So I don't want to get mad murderers or all that. Like,
I mean, those guys do have interesting stories to tell.
Aye.
And I'll sometimes watch them and enjoy it.
Aye, but I don't see. But he does a lot of them, and I'm not into that. It's like it's good, fair enough. If somebody's turned their life around, but you know, I think that's gonna. They say crime doesn't pay, but these guys end up writing books and becoming millionaires and all that. So I'm not really. It's not really my thing, unless it's a big turnaround.
We'll maybe avoid murderers at least for the first wee while.
They murderers, pedos, terrorists, like that.
I can get on board. Aye, I think we'll avoid them.
They do them.
We'll maybe start with a couple of comedians.
Maybe start with a couple of comedians.
Maybe some musicians.
Maybe some music, because you're in the music world, Chris, which is a good combination.
Yep. So we've already got a connection. I know you know Gary Johnson.
I know Gary Johnson.
You were on his podcast at one point.
I was on Gary's podcast in January, and he put it up for about 2 days or something like that, and it disappeared.
I did watch it during that time. I can't remember if he put it on YouTube or if it was on his Twitch channel or something.
Aye.
But I mentioned that to you at the Fringe, and you were like, "Oh, I never knew he put it up."
I see. What I think happened is I think he put it up, and then there was music on it or something that wasn't allowed.
Ah, okay.
Or something, and then I just I don't think he's got around to edit the thing.
Aye. So
he's just gonna wait. I messaged. Like, I was definitely January. I'd done it.
Aye.
And then I messaged them a few months later. And they went, I'll get it done eventually, and it's just not happened. So I've kind of gave up the idea.
Maybe we'll get him on.
Maybe get Gary on, and we won't play any music in the background so that we don't get any copyright infringements.
Aye. So I mean, you've got your connections in the comedy world. I've got my. I'm not going to say I'm connected in the music world, but I've done a bit of gigging. I know some people. So
we're going to get next week. We're going to get Billy Connolly and Oasis on.
Aye.
So that's it. So we'll get Billy Connolly. Well, we won't get him on when there's a
beanbag.
There's a beanbag there. We won't put Billy there because he's not too well. We'll get him a nice big seat.
Actually, just before we started recording, John had a wee lie down on the beanbag, and he was contemplating not getting back up and just putting the mic stand over here.
It's a nice wee beanbag over there. We'll show you it, but the camera's set up there.
Maybe one day we'll do a beanbag Patreon special one day.
Hold on. I'm going to show you it. I'm going to show you the beanbag.
They tear it apart, my nice set that I've built.
So there's the beanbag. It's like a 6 foot beanbag. It's the best thing I've ever seen, and I lay down on it.
That's your Christmas sorted.
That's it, mate. I'm having it. And other things I'd like to have on. See, like I'm into personal development shit. So people are into all that kind of stuff.
I know just the man to get on.
Who's that?
My dad.
Your dad? What's he into?
So my dad, actually ran into him at Tesco just before we started this. And he was,
is that the first time you've ever met him, Chris?
He just came up to me in Tesco and went,
"Yeah, I'm your dad." So we'll have a reunion of like the Jeremy Kyle show. Like Chris has just met his dad.
So no, my dad does a lot of stuff with personal development.
Oh, really?
He runs a programme all across, well, mainly Scotland, all across everywhere really. It's called the Best of You programme.
All right, that's cool, and man. I like that stuff.
He works with mainly young people, sometimes like parents, teachers, anyone really, but it's mainly young people from sort of disadvantaged backgrounds that found themselves in trouble, and he goes around everywhere and anywhere helping these groups of people just kind of realise their potential.
Aye.
Help them turn their life around and sort of channel all their energy into good stuff, you know. He's actually wrote a book a few years ago called The Best of You. I'll give you a copy away.
See, that's cool, man. See, that's good. I like that random stuff. Aye. The Best of You.
The Best of You.
What's your dad's name?
Mark Brown. I'll probably have an extra copy. I'll give you away a copy.
So does he do like NLP and stuff like that?
He does.
All that kind of stuff.
He's done that kind of stuff.
Aye.
All sorts. We'll get him on. He's at. As I said to him, we were starting a podcast, and he was like, "I'll get you rolled down," and that sort of jokey way. But I was like, "No, actually," and I knew you were into this kind of stuff as well, and I was like, "You two would actually get on, so we will get him on at some point."
See, I'm fascinated with stuff like that. So anything that like helps people, is brilliant. So see if it like so part of my kind of like so that's why I don't want to get like people that people have been in jail and all that. I know there's nothing wrong with that after I've got a good story.
Yeah.
But I want to have positive people. So see if we could do a podcast that actually has an impact on people.
Yeah.
Has a kind of message. So it's not just talking shite about talking shite's good fun. It's a good mix.
We're good at it.
Aye, we're good at that. So it's not just talking doing cock jokes and all that. Although there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, there's going to be plenty of that as well.
There's plenty of that as well, but it's just if now and again you get a wee message out there.
Aye, something a bit more serious. Like,
aye.
As I say, my dad would definitely be up for that. His book sort of combines his personal life story, what he's been through, and how that led him to develop the programme that he now delivers to all these people. And there's like examples of stories of these people that he's worked with.
Right.
How he related that stuff to his own life. It's very interesting. I think
I like that. And sometimes it just takes a wee trigger for somebody to change something.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, just one wee thing, they go, oh, holy shit.
And it doesn't need to be necessarily anything big. It can be one tiny wee thing that anyone else would find inconsequential.
I'll try to think of examples of that, but just sometimes just one wee thing, oh, holy shit, it just makes you think a bit differently. And has your dad done stuff like that for you? Like, do you think he's had an influence on you?
Absolutely, aye. Like, we've been talking the last couple of weeks just about how my real job has, like, particularly this year, there's been obscene hours I've been doing.
What's your real job?
I'm a CCTV engineer.
He doesn't like talking about his real job, right? But
some would call me a grass.
Right.
But I like been working mad overtime this whole year basically, and it's kind of taking it out of me a bit. So having something like this, something more creative, and I've got my music stuff that I'm wanting to do a bit more and focus on that a bit. So like my dad's just been like, you need to do what you're passionate about. Don't just prioritise work for the money. And I'm like, you're absolutely right. I need to do what makes me happy more than just stick to a job.
Your music's on the back burner a wee bit, isn't it, recently?
Aye, pretty much. I've done like maybe 1 or 2 gigs this year, and even in the last, I think since lockdown lifted, I've only done maybe 3 or 4 gigs.
I see, that annoys me.
It annoys me too.
It annoys me that you're not doing that, because that like over the years I've gigged with loads of comedians that guys that have disappeared for comedy that are brilliant. There are loads of guys that were good, but then their day jobs and all that get in the way, and they don't do it anymore. And I'm like, why the fuck you don't do that?
I think it's having a balance between trying to do a day job and something creative. A lot of people just try and prioritise the day job because that's the guaranteed money, that's the security in your life. But there comes a point where you probably want to make that jump for the sake of being happy rather than being a bit more secure.
Because I'm kind of a wee bit like that. Although I do a lot of gigs, I've got a mortgage and stuff, which kind of holds you back a wee bit. I've got a mortgage. He's like, Chris looked at me, how the fuck did you get a mortgage? So I've got about 8 years left of my mortgage, but I definitely think that's...
Sorry, was that 80?
80
years.
80 years, aye. So I got like a 100-year mortgage. I'm paying £7 a month for 100 years. Aye, and it definitely does, because like, there's a few times where I've left my job to do comedy full time, and I'm doing all right, and I've had months at a time where I've done it full time and I've done all right, and then that's always the back of my mind, and it's rather than going 100% into it.
Aye, it's hard, especially in such an uncertain industry, be that music or comedy. Do you know what I mean? Like, try to book your own gigs.
Is it uncertain, or is it only uncertain if you don't put the work in?
Well, yeah, that's true. It comes down to what you can put in, but then quitting your main job might be what you need to have the time and the kick up the arse to make you do it. So, because
I know that during the festival, I always make pretty good money during the festival. So,
and your shows are you like the free fringe most of the time? Just pay what you want.
Aye, free fringe, and that works well. We probably make more money than a lot of guys doing the big venues.
Aye, because do they need to pay the venue to put them on, kind of thing?
Aye. So see people like, there's like the Gilded Balloon, Underbelly, there's a few of them that, they're great venues, there's nothing wrong with it, but a lot of the kind of comedians that do that, the big names make good money, but I've known guys that have done like the Underbelly or Pleasance and stuff like that, which are great fucking venues to do, but then I've seen them having good runs, like having a run, a 3-week run, and selling out a lot of shows, but then own the
venue and
a few grand at the end of it, because they're paying so much, and I think as they sell the idea of the kind of, you're in with this big company, so therefore you must be good. So I had somebody saying to me this year that I was out flyering, selling my ass on the street. I was out like, please come and see me. And one of the guys said, I've seen you before. Says, if you keep going, you'll maybe get to do one of the paid venues one year.
Aye.
And I went, fuck that. because I like earning money during the festival.
Aye.
Whereas if I took a year and just went for PBH Free Fringe to the say the Pleasance or something, I'd take a big drop.
Yeah,
I'd take a big drop in what I'm earning.
But the certain comedians that do make that jump have the sort of stars in their eyes kind of thing, and they're like,
I think so.
I want my name on the the Pleasance poster or Gilded Balloon, and they'll take that loss just for the sake of that.
Aye. So the thing is, like, I think they sell them the idea of getting if you're on the Pleasance, the underbelly, people take you more serious, which nowadays is the power of social media. Like, we can do a podcast, you can do TikTok, you can actually build your own audience without having to use the Pleasance as a thing that launches you.
Aye, absolutely.
The Gilded Balloon and all that, you don't need it.
Yeah.
And it's the same way a lot of comedians, they can rely on promoters to get them. You see them, kind of sucking up the arse of promoters but now you can cut out the middleman and build your own audience.
We see guys like Gary Fawlds. Look what he's built. He's gone massive from just basically from his social media following, and he's now on tour.
Aye. So Gary Fawlds, when he started, like, it was the same as most comedians. It's hard when you start. You kind of sometimes you don't fit in. You can't get gigs. You need to get 5-minute spots and then build up to get paid spots. But then Gary wasn't getting gigs for whatever reason. He was a good act, but he wasn't getting gigs. He just got pissed off and started going, "Fuck, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to do my own shows." And a lot of people said to him at the time, "Oh, you're not ready, Gary." His first big show was 250 seats in Victoria's in Glasgow.
Right.
Maybe 6 years ago or something like that. Maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago. 250 seats. He went, "Fuck this, I'm going to sell that out." And a lot of comedians, at that point, he was only doing maybe 10-minute spots, the occasional paid spots. He was still kind of pretty new. And I remember a lot of kind of professional comedians saying, "Oh, Gary's not ready for that, he's delusional, he's mental." People saying that, and I was like, "Oh, fuck you, let him do it."
Who are they to decide if he's ready?
Exactly. So he went round door to door selling that.
Aye.
He went round door to door.
Like when you came to my door and said, "Do I believe in Jesus?" Like one of those guys.
Aye, do you believe in Jesus? Aye, so I done that. So it's like, he went round door to door selling it. And meanwhile, in the background, a few comedians are kind of bitter, he's not ready, he's delusional, he's not doing it right, that. And he sold it out. And from that, he started, I think it was after that, he started doing me videos. Aye. And he gradually built it, and now he sold out the Pavilion last week. And he sold out the SECC just because he didn't listen to what people were saying. Because there's like I think there's two routes to comedy. There's like an employee route.
Yeah.
You know that when you work in a job, you work your way up, you become, like, we work the co-op. No, the gist. Horrible, right? And I remember I did a couple of videos in Gist about Gist, and I got pulled up for it with the managers. You can't do that when you're working here. I was like, well, I can do it now, fuck you. And I get pulled up for doing a video about Gist.
I actually done a few wee daft videos when we were in there as well.
Did you?
There was a day, seeing the Lindsay Mill one, when you'd get put on the trays of totties.
Aye.
Mad heavy trays.
Oh, fuck that.
Now, it would always be like, you'd start your shift, they'd send the wee group over and be like, "Right, you do all the totties."
Aye.
I'd be in that group and they would send maybe 5 of us over to do totties. The 4 of the other guys would like pop behind to do all the wee light baskets of other like fruit and veg and leave me to do the totties.
Cunts.
And I done like a wee sketch hang once, put it on Facebook, and it was just like, "I'll do all the totties then." Aye.
And did you get pulled up for it?
I don't think they saw me, but I used to get pulled up for like walking about having like a headphone and listening to music or something. Which I think legally it's so I don't get hit by like a forklift or something. But I'd rather get hit by a forklift than lift in there, to be honest.
I'd rather get hit by a forklift than work in there again, to be honest. What was I saying there? I can't remember now.
We were talking about Gary Fawlds.
Aye, so Gary was like, he started selling door to door, and it's a thing that I'm kind of on the verge of doing myself, because I was doing pretty well at the festival, doing 3 shows a day, get good numbers, and I'd actually like to kind of, because I do Just Eat as well, and that's flexible enough.
So do I, but just as a user.
Kris is one of my biggest customers on Just Eat. That's how I come in here. I brought him a KFC there, and I just right to do a podcast. So I'd like to actually do door to door, sell tickets for shows, plus do like videos as I'm going.
Yep.
And just go all in and do that. And I reckon if I could sell 10 tickets a day, that'd be enough money to live on.
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't think it'd be that difficult, but there's still that part of me going, but what about your mortgage, son? What about your mortgage?
Well, that'll be covered by the 30,000 patrons in this podcast by Christmas.
Exactly, by Christmas. Aye. Oh, so I started off saying that, didn't I? So if you're watching this, subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to Patreon, and I've got some Patreon things I'm going to add in as well.
All right.
So I will talk about that as well. So and this is the first. I'm looking at that. I can't see me. This is the first one. So me and Chris are just working this out at the start. So Obie Comedian on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and my YouTube channel will be on that as well.
Yep. And actually, let me find it. I've actually made. I'm looking for my phone. It's filming you. I've also made TikTok and Instagram accounts for this podcast.
All right, cool.
To put clips up, and there will be a YouTube as well for the full episodes.
All right, awesome.
I'll put them in on the screen here because I can't remember what they are. So they'll come up in the edit.
Come up on the screen somewhere. So they'll go on that, and they'll go on my stuff as well. Your socials. So they'll go out there, and it'll be good. We'll work it out. What else?
Going to be huge.
We're going to be huge, Chris. We're going to be huge.
So we'll be cutting out this silence.
No, awkward silence is good. That was all right. That was about 20 minutes before we got an awkward silence there, wasn't it?
Aye. I don't think I've ever spoken to MD for 20 minutes without an awkward silence.
Especially blokes. You ever phone up one of your mates and it's just like you go to the pub, aye, all right, 7 o'clock, and that's it.
See, that's what messaging's for. I couldn't tell you the last time I phoned anyone, apart from like my girlfriend. If I'm in Tesco and I need an answer, like, do you want anything?
Aye.
I wouldn't phone somebody to go to the pub. I'd send a message.
No, fuck that. Years ago.
Just like a wee emoji of a pint with a question mark. That's enough.
Aye. And what about, let's see when somebody phones you, do you ever just ignore it? And go, just
most
send them a
times.
message? And one of my, and what about fucking FaceTimes? When that comes up, like, go and fuck yourself with that shit.
Yeah.
I'm insecure enough without a FaceTime.
This, do you know American comedians Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer?
No, I'll write them down.
In fact, I'm going to give you homework for all sorts of comedians that I want you to watch. Right. As much as you are a comedian, I watch probably more than you.
Exactly, that's true, because I don't watch a lot of comedy.
Yeah, and I watch tunnels.
I probably should watch it more, but I don't. I've never really watched, and I think there's a slight reason for that. Although I enjoy watching it, I think one of the reasons I don't is because I don't want to be too influenced.
I can see that. Actually, a lot of comedians that I watch talk about not wanting to watch. See, like if big famous comedians come out with a new special, because there's ones I've heard saying, oh, like I came up with this joke, and then somebody came up to me and said, oh, you've stole that for this person. And they've not, but like it's just people have the same observations and come up with very similar jokes, and it happens, and it's happening more and more now with the likes of Twitter. When like there's something big happening in the news, all comedians jump on it to write a funny thing. Obviously, a lot of them are going to be similar. So like I've seen a lot of comedians saying they actually try and avoid watching other comedians so they don't get too. Because
you could get a bit that's subconscious.
Yeah.
Because I've done it. There's been bits that I've done, and like years ago when I started, there's bits of material I'd done, and somebody says, by the way, that's that guy's bit.
Yeah.
But right away you go, fuck, I didn't know that, because you don't want to be known as a
joke thief.
A joke thief, because people get your reputations for that. So right away I'll go, oh shit, because there's a bit I done years ago, and it was Viv G that said to me, she says, by the way, that was a Frankie Boyle bit. I was like, what? I've never heard him doing it, but it was a bit he done years ago. And I was like, fuck, I liked that bit I know, and I just couldn't do it. It was just a wee one-liner.
Yeah.
And it says like Frankie Boyle used to do a similar bit doing it.
Yeah.
And it's just
happens, especially probably for, like within groups of comedians, all for Glasgow or all for Scotland, all get probably a similar sense of humour, and they're seeing the same stuff, so they're being inspired by the same stuff to write jokes. So it makes sense that people are going to come up with similar stuff.
And especially with topical stuff like that. I don't really do much topical stuff.
Yep.
Because you'll get a lot of comedians come up with the same stuff.
Yeah.
Say there's like Russell Brand now, or there's any kind of.
There was the submarine thing for a while.
So loads of comedians will come up with the same stuff.
Yep.
So I usually kind of try and avoid it.
Your stuff, to me, seems quite an interesting mix of crowd work and sort of pre-planned stuff.
Aye.
Because the show I saw you do at the Fringe, I was stalking you on YouTube and looking at some clips.
Man. Oh shit, man! I'm locked in that hut with this guy a lot.
Aye, you're not getting it. I saw some clips of you at Hot Water in Liverpool,
right?
When you played there, and it was just like a few bits that, in the moment when you're there live, to me just seemed like random off the cuff bits of crowd work.
Right.
But you did it there as well,
right?
So it's like you make it look very natural.
Aye.
And in the moment, even though it's actually something that you've developed and it's part of your act. I thought that was quite interesting.
That's what I try to do. I try to make it, because you can, the worst thing a comedian, well, there's loads of bad things comedians can do, but
as we have learned this week.
As we have learned, but you sometimes, like, what makes comedy good is if you do material as if you're just chatting.
Yes, I know what you mean.
You know, so it's like to make it sound natural.
You don't want it to sound like you're just like reading a script that you've memorised. You want it to sound like it's a guy in the pub telling you a mad story.
So there's like, I do comedy workshops, right? I'll probably be doing one again in January.
Okay.
Have an eye out for that. And so I do comedy workshops, and then somebody, but it's happened a few times, there was somebody who's got, well, the idea is when you start doing comedy, you do like a 5-minute bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think you should do a 5-minute set at some point.
Like in here?
No, like I guess you get you an open spot.
Actually, I know we're taking all sorts of tangents.
That's all right.
On that note, a friend of Ainsley's has just signed up to do a charity comedy thing.
All right, okay.
It's called like Ultra Comedy.
Oh, yeah, I know, yeah.
So like Ainsley did the Ultra thing. She did the white collar boxing last year, I think.
Aye.
But you sign up to it, you get sponsored in that. She got 10 weeks of boxing training.
Then she batted fuck out you, somebody.
Not me.
Was it you, no?
No, there was like a big event everyone went to. We all went, we got suited up, and it's like a proper boxing night, and it was great.
Did she win?
Hers was a draw, a controversial draw. It wasn't a draw, but officially it was a draw.
Do you think she should have won then?
Yes. I actually it was a fun night. I was pure buzzing for it, and then see watching it, you'll be shocked to hear I didn't enjoy watching my girlfriend get punched.
No,
didn't like that. But yeah,
that's a nice guy for you. That I don't enjoy watching my girlfriend getting punched.
No, by anyone.
By anyone.
No,
nobody. So don't punch Chris's girlfriend.
No.
Do you think you were kind of buzzing the way up to it?
Well, I was
looking forward to it, but then she was in the ring. You were like, "Oh, you bitch!"
Kind of like she was.
You was going to drag on her girl laughing.
She was like really enjoying all the training.
Aye,
she'd been at it for weeks. I was a bit nervous going into it because I was like, oh, I don't know what the other girl was like. I didn't know it. It was just somebody she got randomly matched with.
So matched somebody similar size, I'd imagine.
Well, actually, the girl she was fighting was quite small, like smaller than her.
All right.
So I was like, oh, that's going to be easy. She'll fucking floor her. But she was quite nimble that way, you know.
She's quite a wee.
So yeah, I didn't enjoy watching it at all. But it was a good night apart from watching my girlfriend get punched. Anyway, her pal has signed up to do the stand-up comedy version of this. Right. So I don't know if that's similar in the sense that you get training before it. I don't know if they do a comedy workshop.
So I think Viv G, the kind of girl I was talking about earlier, I'm sure she's involved in doing that.
Okay.
So she's ran workshops for years, and she was actually how I started years ago.
Right.
She done it. So she's involved in the ultra comedy thing. So
I actually can't make it because we're going on holiday the day that he's doing it, or we would be going to see it. But I don't know. I imagine it'd be quite interesting. I don't know because I don't know if it's people that have maybe even tried stand up a wee bit, or if it's just people that have signed up to it for a laugh. I think Craig that's doing it, I don't know if he's got any experience in doing that kind of thing.
When I do my workshops, I do like 6 weeks, and I get a mixture of people that have did my phone go off?
It did.
I get a mixture of people who have never done anything at all. They've never even done any presentations, and up to people that have done maybe a year or so doing the open spot. So I get a mix, and it doesn't mean the person who's more experienced is going to be funnier. The guy that's never done it might be just a natural funny guy.
I was going to say, is comedy, I imagine, like music. To me, the thing with music is you can teach someone that knows nothing up to a certain point, to a technical level, but with music, there's just, to me, an inherent thing in somebody that they've got it in them.
I think so, because I've not got the music.
The same with comedy.
Because I've not got the music thing.
Yeah.
I would actually like the challenge of learning a bit of music. But
do you want to do that as a challenge one day? Like, you need to learn a song and I need to do a 5-minute stand-up.
Let's do it, mate. Let's do it. I'll do it. Because I started learning the guitar a few years ago.
Yeah.
But it's got a dusty now, so I learned to do. I done Wild Thing with the Trogs badly, so I learned that a wee bit. But I mean, I need to pick it up again. But I mean, because I think you're right. There's a natural ability with comedy, I think. But there's also, you say that, there's also people aren't as natural who work their balls off.
Yeah.
So I think there's people that are natural. So the problem with people that are really natural at it, they get lazy and just think their natural talent will get them there. Whereas the people that aren't as natural work their buzz off and overtake them. So there's that danger as well.
I think that, again, that's the same thing with music. If somebody's just got it in them. Like, I grew up playing music. Like, my whole family play music, and I sort of just naturally fell into it. And then kind of through school, I was like one of the best. I always get like one of the highest marks in class, and I was in all sorts of bands, and people would ask me to play with their bands. And I've, in recent years, just fallen away from it because I've been doing other stuff, which, again, I know makes you angry.
I get your finger out,
try and change that. But
I'm here to push you, son.
But like, I know other people that have had less of a sort of natural thing with music, but have just committed themselves to learning and getting to probably what is even a better level than I am now, just through sheer determination.
Oh, definitely, man. If you're a natural, I mean, you could you play guitar? You play the guitar?
Yep.
Can you just play by ear mostly?
Yeah, most songs. I mean, the majority of songs are like 3 chords. I can listen to a song and be like, oh, yeah, that's those 3 chords.
See, I can't do that. I don't know if I could do it after a few, maybe a year of practice or something.
Yeah.
But then you'll get a guy that can do that, who'll practice for 6 hours a day for years, would probably overtake you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know people that have done that. Like, I grew up with them. They didn't play music at all in school, and then picked it up later in life, either when we were sort of towards the end of school, or even since we've left school. And out of nowhere, I'll see videos of them and be like, oof, you didn't do music when I knew you, now you're doing that.
Now you're Liam Gallagher or something like that. And it's true, you get like, apparently there's like Michael Jordan wasn't the most natural basketball player. So he was. I've just read wee bits. So I'm always reading books like that. So he get knocked back for his high school team or something.
Right.
You can Google that if you want. But he got knocked back for his high school team, and he never made his high school team or something like that because he wasn't good enough. But then he just practiced and he just put 100% into practicing and getting better.
Yeah,
just
here's
put the
the
work
article.
in.
Jordan tried out for his varsity basketball team during his sophomore year. At the time, he was around 5'10",
right,
and reportedly on the skinny side.
The
coach chose another sophomore, Jordan's close friend, who was 6'7", and placed Jordan on the junior team instead.
Yeah.
I'm not reading the whole thing, but we know what happened. He became the greatest of all time.
That was just dedication, though.
And then we all buy his shoes.
Not me, because I'm not gullible as fuck.
Right, well,
what haven't they?
You can pick for Christmas. Do you want a beanbag or a pair of Jordans?
I want that beanbag.
Right, okay.
A pair of beanbags. So that's it. That was just dedication with that. And I think I'm a wee bit guilty of that. I don't know if I thought it was a natural comedy, but I've not put. I don't put the work in as much as I could. I'm doing all right, but I reckon. So I don't put as much work in with writing and stuff. As I could.
I mean, the ideal is a combination of both. Somebody that's got the spark, the natural thing in them, but then they commit themselves to take that to the very peak, you know.
I'm doing all right, and the thing is with comedy, I've done it for 20 odd years, and I've not lost the love for it. I'm every gig. I love every gig.
That's good.
So it's like the gigs at the festival. The room when you were in was full.
Yep.
And I done one in Dumfries the other day. There was 11 people in. And it was still good fun, but I loved.
Yeah, I was going to say that you just get the same buzz, like regardless of the audience. Like I've played gigs, like through school events and stuff. I've played to like the full Glasgow Royal Concert Hall, and I enjoyed that. But I enjoy it just as much as playing in a dingy pub where nobody's actually listening to you. Because it's not the people that make it for me. It's just doing what I love doing.
Exactly. You know, so that kind of obviously that a bigger gig's more fun.
It's more fun. There's more of a buzz, and if you are getting a good reaction from an audience, you know, you feel a bit better about it. But I would happily sit in a pub the size of this room with one guy in the corner. And you just play the guitar in the corner. Yeah. Because you do it for the love of it. Yeah, that's it. Like, if I wasn't doing that, I might be sitting in the house doing the same thing. So I might as well go out and do it. Exactly. You know, I mean, I'd happily. Because it annoys me that some comedians, they think they're too good to do like a small gig. Like just a 5-minute spot or something. You know, I'm past that. I deserve to be a headliner or something. Exactly. So I headline a few gigs, but then I would still go and do a gig on a Tuesday night where nobody's listening to try out stuff because I love it. But I remember at Edinburgh Festival years ago, we're sitting in a bar after a gig, and there was a comedian who was meant to be on upstairs, but he came down and he went, I'm not doing the gig, there's only 15 people there, or something like that. I was like, what? There's only 15 people, but there's 15 people turned up to your gig, and you think you're too good. You know, and I was like, fuck off. No, that's not what it's about.
I know. I've done gigs with like an Edinburgh Festival with 2 people.
Yeah.
And
there's one I came to one of yours in way back, like probably round about when we worked together.
Right.
Which must have been like
5 years ago or something.
I've been in this job for nearly 6 years. And I did another job for 2 years before that, so it must be like 7 or 8 years since we worked in there. But
I've not been there. I left there about 5 years ago, I think.
I'm trying to find the. Can you remember what venue you were in?
Sneaky Pete's.
Sneaky Pete's. I came to see you there, and that was a quiet wee show.
Was it? Aye.
That was when you had the big board with all the list of words that you'd memorised.
The memorised thing. Aye.
That was a good show. And
again, was that a quiet one? Was it?
I remember it being quite quiet. Like that's obviously quite a small room, but
well, you can still get 50 in there. See, standing up the back there. It's actually.
It happened to be a quiet one I was at, but like I'm the same as an audience member. I'm not sized about the crowd and atmosphere as well. You know, if I'm enjoying what I'm watching, I'm enjoying it. I don't care who else is there.
It's harder with a small crowd, and I think for learning how to engage with a crowd, doing small crowds is phenomenal for that.
I think they feel safe in a big crowd. See, to try and laugh. If there's something that you don't feel that you should laugh at, you might have a wee look around and be like, "Oh, are they accepting that?" Which there's more chance of everyone laughing in a bigger crowd. You know what I mean? Because it's infectious. Whereas a smaller crowd, people might be like a bit more defensive.
So with a small crowd, you need to make them feel comfortable. So there was an example of that in Sneaky Pete's. Because over the years I've had I've had very quiet ones, and it happens. There was like 3 people come in, and a guy with 2 girls, right? So there's a mad shagger, I think. Right? So a guy with 2 girls come in, Sneaky Pete's, and he was standing at the bar, right? And what happens is when people come into a show, when it's dead, you see they look awkward as fuck. They're like, oh no. They've got that fear. We might have to sit through somebody that's shite. There's only 3 years. You just get that awkwardness, because it can be awkward if you get into a show that's dead.
And there are probably some comedians that would make an ass of a crowd like that. I think you thrive in an environment like that.
So what I do with that is, they were at the bar, and I went, listen guys, like, have a beer. Don't feel any pressure. If there's if enough people turn up, we'll do the show. But if not, we'll just have a beer. Right, so that was me. This is a kind of intentional thing, and I'm not being manipulative. I was saying, like, listen, have a beer. And, you know, if enough people turn up, we'll do the show. If not, we'll just have a beer for an hour. That's cool. So what happened after that? So we had a beer. I had a pear with a pear, an orange. I had an orange. We had nuts, a cake. I had a cake, a kebab. Sorry. So I had a beer with these 3 people, and but I was having a laugh with them.
Yeah.
So while having a beer, I made them feel comfortable. We're getting on quite well.
Yep.
And I went, by the way, you're actually quite funny. I says, tell you what, right? This was half an hour in, and I went, I could go up on stage and do like a 15-minute set for you if you want, just because you'd be good enough. And they went, because I'd built enough rapport with them.
Yeah. So which is the kind of thing in a bigger room you would have naturally just done if they'd come in and sat down and you'd started the show, because that's how you would start, trying to build up a bit of something.
But
you just had to do that off to the side unofficially.
So I was kind of a sneakily doing it, and then so I went up and I ended up doing longer than I was going to do, just because I was enjoying it. And then at the end I went, usually with the free Fringe shows, you do a bucket speech at the end. You go, by the way, it's a free show. So by the way, I'm not looking for any money off you. I just enjoyed your company. If you enjoyed the show, tell your pals, come back another time. But the guy gave me 20 quid anyway, between the 3 of them. That was pretty cool. So that and the reason that I like that year was only 3 of them. They went away, they had a good time. Oh, thanks for that, we had a beer. But the following year, the same 3 brought another 10 people with them to a different show. So the fact that I actually done the show for them actually helped build my audience.
Benefited you the next year. Well, it's like when I came, I think I went 2 or 3 days to the Fringe this year. Like when I came to see you that day, I was with my pal Scott. He doesn't really go to comedy shows or anything, but he was just like, oh, you know your comedy, just book whatever you want and I'll come. And he enjoyed everything we went to the point where he's like, oh, we need to come back next year, we'll do more, we'll come like every weekend and we'll bring these other pals. So like,
so he's into it now.
Aye, definitely. I think he'll probably want to come on here at some point as well. And
come on. So what does he do again? Is he a musician or something as well?
He is as well. That's his drum kit sitting in the corner. He plays in, I think it's just one band at the moment. Yeah. But yeah, he'll be a good guest as well.
Cool, man. So I think we'll do a mixture of, because I'd like to build the podcast up that could get famous people on. You know, but that takes these big ones. We'll get Elon Musk in or something like that.
In my front door.
Aye, so next week. So ladies and gentlemen, that was wee Rab for Cope Ridge. Next week we've got Elon Musk. And then stuff like that, you know. So it'd be nice to build it up enough that you can actually get people like that on. Not Elon Musk, obviously. That was just an example. So I'd like to have a mixture of just maybe some of your pals, some of my pals, and just having a baby.
We'll get a keg in the thing.
And other comedians sometimes, and maybe like your dad, personal development. I know other personal development people.
Yep.
And there's I'm interested to see sometimes paranormal shit. That fascinates me.
Who was I watching recently? Was on talking about paranormal stuff. Well, that's going to annoy
paranoia
me.
Stuff.
Paranoia stuff. I'm not into real life paranormal stuff, but
what do you mean?
Like the X-Files. See, fictional stuff, and I like watching.
Oh, you like that?
Aye, I mean, I do like not so much ghosty stuff. I don't believe necessarily in ghosty stuff.
Right.
I do believe in aliens.
All right, okay. So I like that kind of stuff. The fact that you don't believe in it, and I'm skeptical as well, but I like talking about it. It's fun,
and I've got
the fact that there's people might have a difference of opinion.
I've heard plenty of stories. My girlfriend Ainsley, she's got stories of ghosty stuff where she's convinced she's seen stuff, and I trust and believe her. I don't think she's lying. I think at least she believes what she believes, if you know what I mean. But for me, I won't believe in ghosts until I see something that I can't explain otherwise. You know what I mean?
Aye.
And I would like to have an experience like that. Same, you know.
Right.
But in saying that, I've not had an alien experience and I still believe in that, so who knows?
So what makes you believe in aliens?
I just think the fact that the universe is infinite means that we can't be the only ones.
Totally, aye. There must be something there.
Aye.
Aye.
I'm not convinced that they've necessarily been here. I'd like to think they have been. I have heard some weird stories, we live just down the road for Bonnybridge, which is a hot spot for UFOs in the UK. My grandparents live there.
I mean, I worked with a guy in just, can't remember, this guy Tony, worked in, did you ever work in Lindsay Mill?
Oh yeah.
Tony guy, Italian, Scottish, but he's an Italian kind of background. And he told me one day, I know it was maybe mid-50s, something like that. He told me that he'd seen something years ago in Cumbernauld, a spaceship or something in Cumbernauld somewhere.
It's like a hotspot, there's been lots of sightings.
So he said something that was very close.
Yeah, my papa had a story like that. It was I can't remember if it was him that saw it or somebody he knows, but he was driving along a dark kind of country road one night.
Pissed out his mind.
No, it was again. I don't know if it was him or somebody else, but his car broke down, or the lights turned off in his car without him doing anything.
Aye.
And he there was a car driving towards him. He could see the headlights, and there's no other junctions off this road or anything. And he kind of looked down to restart the car or check a light switch or something, and looked back up, and these two lights that were driving straight towards him were just gone.
Aye.
And it was, I think, in that sort of area where there was known to be UFO sightings.
So where was that? Bonnybridge?
Probably around that area. Aye. Yeah. God, this podcast has went very Joe Rogan already.
I know. No, see, that's what I like. I like talking about loads of different stuff.
I've made a wee note here I wanted to mention when you were talking about all sorts of comedy shows, people starting off doing 5 minutes and stuff. Have you ever done a gong show?
Aye.
That fascinates me.
How?
Just the idea, you don't get that in music, really, especially people travelling. I know guys that have travelled to Manchester to do a gong show and stood on stage for 3 seconds.
I've done that.
And then get gonged off.
Aye.
And drive home.
Aye.
That's funny.
It's sometimes it's there's a frog and bucket.
Aye.
I've done it.
Tell them what it is if they don't know.
So a gong show is basically so basically gong show with loads of comedians. It could be a mixture of new comedians, old ones, but mostly new comedians. And there's an audience of humans. Mostly humans, the odd cat and that. The aliens are there. There's aliens there as well. But
that was them driving to that show.
Aye.
Over my papa's car.
Aye. So basically, you get 5. Well, you get 2 minutes. Sometimes 1 minute, 2 minute grace, but then 3 members of the audience get a card.
Yep.
So if they don't like you, they raise their card.
It's a bit like on Britain's Got Talent where they've got the big buzzer.
Aye.
So like if all the judges press the big X buzzer, then you have to stop.
So basically, if I go on stage and I start, there's so 3 people in the audience, just 3 random people that the compers picked, and if the 3 of them don't like you, they all put their card up, you get gonged off. And so they basically, they maybe have like 500 comedians on, and some of them are brutal because they encourage the gonging off.
And is this like a sort of rite of passage in a comedian's early career?
It can be. See, I would still do them.
Aye.
So there's like the Frog and Bucket in England. So there's a comment.
Yeah.
Manchester, sorry. Frog and Bucket. So doing that gets you into that club. So it's the only way to get into that club, because I do quite well in Scotland. I headline a lot of shows here, but I've not done enough in England. So in order to get in with them, I need to go back and do the Gong Show a few times. So I'd done it 2 years ago, just after the lockdown.
Yep.
And the only reason I drove all the way down to Manchester to do a Gong Show, and because I was
the exact example I gave.
Right.
I think it was maybe Stephen Buchanan I heard saying he's done the exact same thing.
And it's so I went down there, and the only reason I wanted, because it was the first time I'd been on stage in 2 years because of the
first
lockdown.
time after lockdown, aye.
And I was doing the Edinburgh Festival the following week, so I just wanted to blow some cobwebs off, and I got so basically the Frog and Bucket, they send emails out. They have last minute spots going for the Gong Show. Right. I was like, do you know what? Fuck it. I'm dying to go on stage, being in a pub with an audience.
Yep.
I'm driving to Manchester, and they put me on first. I was like, fuck it. But I done it. I got my 5 minutes, and I think I came in. So they do like so. I didn't get gonged off, so I lasted my 5 minutes, which was good.
And do most people get gonged off?
It depends. Can
you just get do you get audiences where it will get given to somebody brutal and they'll just do it every time?
It's random. So that night, I think there's maybe about 20 or 30% get gonged off.
Okay.
Maybe 50% or something. But the audience were fairly nice. But other nights where the audience are just bastards. It just depends who gets the card.
Yeah. I feel like I'd be quite lenient with it because I'm open to all different styles of comedy.
Aye.
Whereas I can imagine somebody would come on. Like, I think I heard one of them talking about, say you go into Manchester and walk on stage with a Liverpool accent, they're going to fucking go, right, off, you're a dick.
I done the Comedy Store 1 years ago. I was doing with Gary Falls and Gary Meikle years ago. We were doing in a car, and I went down. I think Gary Falls came in second that one, but I went down. I was experienced ones. I was telling them about it. And I went down and it was in Manchester, and I went on. I thought it was hilarious. I went, good evening, Liverpool, gong. That was me. I lasted like 10 seconds. I was like, for fuck's sake, back up the road. So the one I done 2 years ago, I lasted my 5 minutes. I think I come in second or third. They do like a clap off.
Oh, right, for the top, whatever.
Aye, so the wee guy that won, hundreds of pals with him.
Right,
okay. That's a wee cunt. Right? It was good. I cheated. So I think I came in second or third, but it was still good.
That's good going. Did they do them like in Glasgow venues and stuff?
Now and again. I wouldn't really do them in Glasgow. Maybe if I had nothing to do and I was just looking for a laugh.
Aye.
Because I was wondering, and the thing is, it's like with a gong show, you can't take it seriously. Because I've seen some of the best acts going on and getting gonged off.
Yeah.
Who's hitting guys are maybe headlining. There was one I'd done in the State Bar years ago. Do you know the State Bar?
Aye.
So
gigs in there.
I used to do music as well. And so I was doing the Yes Bar, a gig. So I was headlining at the Yes Bar when it was still open. It doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. Came to see you there as well back in the day.
Oh, did you? Aye.
I did. You and Roscoe was on.
All right.
Can't remember who else, but yeah, that was a good one.
So then, I had a gig at the Yes Bar. Then I knew the Gong Show was on at the State Bar, so I thought, fuck it, I'm going round for a beer. I had a few beers. I went round to the Gong Show, and I said to the guy, can I get on? But the audience were bastards, right? No, they were all drunk as fuck. They were chatting. With a comedy show, and everybody's chatting like nobody was listening.
Yeah.
So nobody was giving a fuck, and everybody was dying in their hole, and they weren't getting a chance. Not because they weren't good, just because nobody was listening.
Aye.
It was chaos. So I went on. So I went on in the middle at some point, and I was like, "There's no point doing material here. There's no point in me doing a 5 minute spot." So I went on. I was a wee bit pissed. I lay on the floor and the
like the beanbag.
So I lay on the floor in the fetal position, facing away from the audience, and sang "Hey Jude," right? And that lasted 5 minutes. And I got the audience. The guy that I won after me had a great gig because the audience started listening.
That
and I
can be
came
what
in
it takes.
second.
Excellent. That can be what it takes to turn an audience around. Like if they need something, just a bit of shock value, something different to turn the night around.
So I was like, these cunts aren't going to listen to me. So I was like, I was just, hey, Jews. And I'm a shite singer as well, Chris. I'm one of the unnatural.
Well, we're going to find out when we do our challenge, when you learn your song.
Right, that's it, we'll do it. I'll do a 5-minute open mic singing gig. You do 5 minutes of stand-up.
Okay, that's a deal. We already bumped on it earlier.
We did, right.
It's going to be on my mind.
Right, I'm going to do it, right. You can teach me a song, right? What's a good song for a guy to sing that's not got a good range? Because I'm not like a good I'm something that's like
Wonderwall,
I could do that. I like Oasis. Is that quite a simple one?
I like 3-4 chords.
Aye,
quite easy changes.
Because you're a musician, do you look down on Wonderwall and that? You're better than that?
Not because I'm a musician. I'm not an Oasis fan.
Are you not?
No.
How?
It was just a bit. They were before my time. There's plenty of people my age that love them. That's not really a factor. But I just, I think it's probably because the people that liked them when I was growing up, I didn't like those people.
Oh, they were all dead, so aye, not dead, so aye.
I'm more into. When I was younger, it was more rock stuff like Foo Fighters.
Right.
Still love them now, but I've gotten much more into my country music as I've gotten older.
All right.
Which the Neds would absolutely wreck me for.
Oh, aye. So if there's any Neds out there, we're in Cumbernauld, but
here's my postcode.
I suppose it's true, isn't it? The Oasis. I love Oasis, but as a kind of a Neddy audience, isn't it? Because Liam was a fucking Ned, wasn't he? He was a Ned. He was breaking into houses and shit, wasn't he?
I mean, I like him as a character.
Aye.
I don't like his voice particularly.
Right.
But like, there's a song. What's the? Is it Wonderwall that's got the line? There are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. I can't remember.
I think so. Aye.
Anyway, there's a video of him singing that live in like Spain or something.
Aye.
And he's like, there are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't fucking speak Spanish. I like that.
You like that?
I like that. Like, I like a character like that.
I just found out Chris is racist, ladies and gentlemen. There, we've got
because
a
I don't speak Spanish.
This is a right wing podcast. Next week we've got Nigel Farage and Jim Davidson on,
and then Elon Musk.
Guy. Imagine we get like fucking somebody like that. Who'd be the biggest name we could get on? Imagine getting them to come on old. Billy Connolly.
Well, my dad would need to be here that day. He's his biggest fan.
Aye.
Mr. Bridges.
Kevin Bridges, aye.
He's touring way over like Sweden or something at the moment.
Is he? Aye. Maybe get him if we get big enough. I'm sure. I'm
surprised he doesn't do many podcasts. No, I've never seen him on. I would have expected him on the likes of Have a Word or something like that.
Because I guess like is because the just what's the one that kind of Mark Jennings and that do?
Some Laugh.
They've had a few decent names on it. They've had like the guy for Chewing the Fat. What's his name? They
had Greg
Hempel on. They've had. I'm sure they had Daniel Sloss on it.
They've had him. They've had Raymond.
Aye. So that maybe get Raymond. Raymond would maybe do it.
Aye, I like his. Have you seen his wee videos he's been doing? With what's the guy's name? The guy that's like phoning him.
Oh,
it's called Glez Gada or something.
What's his name? Oh fuck, I
saw clips of him the other day, but I'm enjoying that.
They're good because they're simple, aren't they? They're just quick.
Aye, I don't know. Is that part of a podcast they're doing? I think because I've seen because the account is called like Glez Gada Podcast. And I went and had a look at it, and I think they've got a live podcast recording thing that you can go and buy tickets for. They've done a couple of
shows together. Right. Stuart Mitchell.
That's the one.
So Stuart Mitchell plays the son.
Yep.
Phones them up. So they've done a show together. So I don't know if that's a live podcast thing.
Aye.
But I don't know if they've actually done a podcast.
I don't think it'll just be an hour long of like him at that side of the stage and him there going, Dav, you get any tea cakes?
Well, I've seen some of the clips and it's just Raymond. Like his crowd work's phenomenal.
Aye, I've seen him compare at the stand a couple of times.
So he's phenomenal at crowd work. So he's just take the piss out of people in the audience.
Yeah,
but he's bun it on as the da kind of character.
Yeah. Last time I saw him, there was a group of dentists in for like a work night out, and he ripped it out of them. I can't even remember what he said, but like they were being arseholes.
Alright, dentists being arseholes, were they?
Aye, but he took them down a peg. It was a good time.
Oh, he's good at that. He's good at that. And the thing is, he reads a lot, so he comes across as this mad working class guy, which he is.
Yeah. But
then he's well read as well, so he'd probably know the name of all the teeth and all the procedures and all that. And he'd be like, how the fuck does this mad bastard know all that? So So you'll meet somebody that's a pilot and he'll rhyme off all these planes and this shit like that. How the fuck? It's kind of unexpected. So when we get Raymond on, so I reckon, like, I think when with a podcast you build it up, you build a reputation, you get some big guests on and other people want to do it.
Aye, absolutely.
But as you start, people kind of go, it's like...
We actually had Kai Humphries followed our TikTok account that I made.
Oh, did he?
For this podcast, he's followed us. So.
All right, cool. They said, what have we called it?
The Fuck It List.
All right, cool. That's awesome.
Again, I can't remember the proper account names, but they'll be on the screen back when I said it, and they'll be on at the end as well.
Aye.
So obviously you can
maybe do a wee video on my phone later on, just to kind of plug it.
Aye, I mean we're near enough an hour for episode 1 already.
Is that an hour already?
Aye.
Well, that was all right. But it was kind of
enjoyed that,
because the thing is with the first one. Do you know I was reading I read a lot of marketing books, right? About kind of just. There's a guy called Russell Brunson I read a lot, right?
Okay.
He does like a lot of marketing stuff. He's got 3 brilliant books on it, and he says like, and I want to do more social media. And he says it's more. It doesn't really talk about comedy, but it's like more businesses.
Yep.
This is if you do a show a day for a year. I don't mean like this. It could be like a podcast. It could be like I want to do like videos every day, like YouTube videos every day on my phone, plus this once a week. This is if you do a show every day for a year, you'll find your voice as well.
Aye.
So you find out what works. So it's like see when you're probably similar at music. When you started, when I started comedy on stage, you don't know who you are. You kind of go on and you kind of go, you're a bit nervous.
You do the thing, you do the job. You might play the song, you might tell the joke, but you don't learn a style.
Aye, so you work out your style as you go.
Yep.
So I think it's because there's a lot of guys that are very good at social media because they've been on it for a while.
Aye.
And they work out who they are. And I don't think I've worked out who I am on camera yet. So I feel more natural doing this, but on my videos, when I'm just doing that,
Aye.
I feel awkward as fuck. So see, if you do a show a day for a year, you find out your voice, and that's when you start kind of making.
Aye. Well, there's going to be clips going out from this as well, so we'll have the full episode. We'll go up on YouTube and that whenever. We've not sorted schedules or anything, but then sort of through the week leading up to an episode coming out, I'll be putting out clips as all the podcasts do. It's how it works these days. So there'll be plenty going out, plenty to see.
Cool.
Shall we call that the first podcast?
We'll call that a day. So I think we've done the first podcast. So
there we go.
If you enjoy the podcast, right? Well, this is because you're meant to end on giving them something today. Apparently.
All right, homework.
I just like that because a lot of the podcast videos say, "Please follow me, smash the fuck out of the like button to see all that." Didn't
and the wee bell to subscribe.
The wee right. So subscribe to whatever the name. You put it up. The name of the podcast.
Yes.
Plus, Obie stand-up comedian, I'll put it on that as well, on that video. Obie comedian on Instagram, Twitter, or X, I don't even use that. I've put one tweet in the last 10 years. TikTok, Facebook, so follow him with that. And follow Kris as well, who's going to start doing his fucking music again, isn't he, Kris?
And apparently start stand-up as well.
Start stand-up. So Kris is going to do like a stand-up 5-minute set. That'll be good for filming as well.
Yep.
So you can film you doing your set, plus me
singing your song.
Singing my song. And another thing I was going to add, by the way, I forgot about this because it was the first thing. See, for the Patreon thing.
Oh, yeah.
So we're starting a Patreon, right? And we'll work out as we go along, but I'm going
That's where the footage is going, by the way. You need to pay to see me do stand-up and to see you singing.
Right, but what I'm going to do, right, you know, Kris was mentioned earlier on about the memory stuff I'd done on my shows. I used to do a show where I'd memorise a load of words. I think I got it to 300 at one point, where it was 300 random words, where people in the audience would shout out words. I'd have to improvise material from it. So
you would shout out a number, and that was like next to a word on your list. So say like number 10 was the word carrot.
Aye.
Somebody would shout 10, and you would have to work the word carrot into a story or whatever.
Aye, so that's a skill that I've learned. So I'm actually, I had a course online years ago.
Yep.
So I'm going to update that again and put it on my Patreon, so people can subscribe to my Patreon.
Okay. You'll
get my course as well, which I'll be working on as well. So that gives people an incentive.
Sounds good.
So another wee couple of courses I'm doing as well. Maybe my comedy course and maybe another thing. So that's things that can get people on the Patreon as well.
There'll be plenty of nonsense to watch and listen to.
Plus there'll be extra episodes and stuff as well once we get going, once we get some kind of momentum.
In about 3 weeks when we've got enough and we quit I quit my real job and just take full time.
Aye.
Right, call that episode 1. Thanks for watching.
Episode 1, so I've been Obie, he's been Kris.
I've not got a stage name yet, but we'll see.
Kris. Have you had a stage name?
I'll come up with one for the next episode.
Right,
okay.
Cool.
Bye.
Right, thank you, bye. Cheers.